Pikachu, why won't you get in your Pokeball?
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
What's cracking, YouTube? My name is Neck Punch, and the Pokemon anime has been giving us countless disturbing moments for more than 20 years. Today, I'm going to be counting down the top 5 moments that disturbed me the most. I'm going to be limiting this to the main series, and a quick note, obviously I'm about to spoil 5 great moments in the anime, so I will mention the episode before any spoilers. You have been warned. Kicking it off at number 5 is a moment from episode 20, The Ghost of Maiden's Peak. This is one of the creepiest episodes that we get early on in the anime. Ash and his friends are on their way to Saffron City and visit a festival at a place called Maiden's Peak. It's all relatively standard, except Brock and James seem transfixed with this mysterious girl who seems to vanish. For much of the episode, we're not sure if this girl is real, alive, dead, or a Pokemon, but the intro to the episode shows us that a Ghastly is involved somehow. Ash and co try to ward off the ghost with these anti-ghost stickers that don't seem to work. And suddenly Brock and James get sucked away. What really sticks in my mind is what happens when Jessie decides to fight back. Suddenly these disturbing skull figures appear and begin screaming. Ash pulls out his Pokedex, which tells him,
"No Pokemon entry found."
This moment changes everything that we previously understood about the Pokemon universe. To this point, it was just people and Pokemon, and the past 19 episodes had taught us that there was always a Pokemon explanation. And then suddenly, maybe not. It turns out that yes, it was still just a Ghastly, but these illusions that it's able to conjure definitely stick in my memory as one of the creepiest things the animators dreamed up. Number 4 occurs in episode 871, Scary Hospitality. A number of episodes follow this similar storyline of Ash and his friends seeking shelter in some mansion or other, only to encounter ghosts. And while this episode is one of them, it's particularly memorable for the chilling way it plays with our expectations. As soon as they enter the mansion, the group begin to notice slightly creepy things. The man who lives there, Lon, seems to have been expecting them, and the group find him a little unsettlingly generous. But we've been down this road before. There's probably some ghost type or psychic type Pokemon involved. We're in Gen 6, we know how this works, right? And sure enough, a bunch of weird things begin happening, but we know there's probably a ghost type Pokemon behind it. And right on cue, Clement brings out a machine to help explain the phenomena. And sure enough, it's old favourites Ghastly, Haunter and Gengar behind it all, just trying to have fun. And in the end, it all gets straightened out, and we learn that the Scary House has its name based on a misunderstanding. The old man moved away from the house as a boy because these ghost-type Pokemon were scaring him. But now he realizes they were just trying to have fun. And Ash and friends have yet again reconciled a person with the Pokemon that were trying to be his friends, as per the formula. Until Bonnie notices that the photo of Lon is over 200 years old. At which point, Lon remembers,
I'm not quite alive.
This moment totally got me. It's like the whole episode was just an exercise in making us think this guy was alive and real, and the ghost-type Pokemon were behind all the shenanigans. Because it fits so well with all the other episodes like it in the past. And just when it's all confirmed and straightened out, nope, psych, he was a ghost the entire time. And the way they cheerfully just drop that on you when your guard is down is awesome. Number 3 happens in episode 702, BEHEEYEM, DUOSION and the Dream Thief. Gen 5 really enjoyed long episode titles. I don't know. This episode opens with a creepy character watching Ash and friends from the bushes before sending in his BEHEEYEM to earn their trust by granting their wishes. And when Silent mentions he'd love to sleep in a big bed, BEHEEYEM leads them to a nice, albeit empty, hotel, where they promptly fall asleep. They're woken by an officer, Jenny, who's investigating something called psychic crime, and she's working with a DUOSION in a sort of one of us, one of them sort of thing. Jenny asks them if they've noticed anything missing, but of course they haven't. Nothing's missing. Right, Pikachu?
Ah, Pikachu!
And there it is. This is like one of those horror movies where you think that everything's okay, and then one guy just turns to his friend casually in the middle of a quiet moment and his friend's head just falls off or something messed up like that. I don't know what it is about this. I think it's partly that the doll itself is pretty horrendous, but I still remember this moment as one of the most disturbing moments in all of the anime. Number 2 is a pretty well-known one that takes place in episode 24, Haunter vs. Kadabra. 2 episodes earlier, Ash challenges Sabrina to a gym battle, She accepts on the condition that he and his friends will play with this little girl on her lap should he lose. And he does lose, and they find themselves shrunk down and in a dollhouse about to get crushed by the little girl's ball. But that's not the moment that I'm talking about. See, they're rescued and informed that Ash needs a ghost type to beat Sabrina, and in the next episode he goes and befriends a haunter. He decides not to catch it though, preferring instead to rely on it just showing up and helping him in the rematch. Then in episode 24, Haunter does not in fact show up, and the rest of Ash's Pokemon refuse to get in the ring with Kadabra. So Ash does the honorable thing and flees, leaving Misty and Brock behind to be turned into dolls. This freaks me out so much. As if being shrunk down or put into an illusion of the sort was not disturbing enough, this time she literally turns them into dolls. They're still conscious and we can hear their thoughts, but they can't move, they can't speak, they can't do anything. This just makes me think of that question, imagine if you lost your sense of sight and hearing, as well as your ability to speak and move. You're alive and conscious, but you have no concept of what's going on around you, and everyone else has no concept of what's going on inside you. I've met somebody in that condition, and it just seems like the scariest and most tragic thing. But the thing is that no one can ever tell you what it feels like. This is definitely one of the most unsettling scenes in any Pokemon episode. But there's one episode that I think trumps them all, and that's episode 683, Scare at the Litwick Mansion. This is 100% the best episode of the Black and White series, and if you haven't watched it, I recommend you pause this video and go watch it now. The whole episode is super unsettling and intense, and there's one moment in particular that I want to talk about. So yet again, Ash and friends enter a strange mansion to seek shelter from the rain. This mansion, however, turns out to be the new secret base of the suddenly serious Team Rocket. But immediately we notice something different about the way Team Rocket are drawn. There's a couple of extra lines on their faces, and it's all a little odd. I remember skipping back to the start of the episode just to check I hadn't missed some pre-credits scene that explains why they look a little worse for wear. But with no explanation to be found, I pressed on. Team Rocket appear to have made friends with a group of Litwick, who they ask to go and snatch Pikachu. So the Litwick begin putting Ash and co through the usual ghostly shenanigans. Ash and his friends isolate one, and his Pokedex begins giving information. But the entry is cut off, giving us a clue that something is wrong. There's something someone doesn't want us to know. In the midst of that, every time we see Team Rocket, they are looking and sounding more and more tired. And they begin to notice that themselves, but assume that it's because they've been working extremely hard. Of course they have, we've seen them now this season, they've gotten real serious, they've become actual villains, so maybe they're just exhausted. Then they have a conference call with Dr. Zager where he mentions research that suggests Litwick feed off life energy from people and Pokemon. But before we can really get an explanation of that, his transmission is mysteriously cut off too. Then, finally, while Ash and co look for the missing Pikachu and Axew, Ash decides to check his Pokedex again. And finally, we get the moment where we learn what the Litwick have been trying to hide.
Litwick, the candle Pokemon. Litwick appear to be helping to guide the way of people by illuminating areas that are darkened. But in reality, they are actually leading them to the ghost world.
The ghost world? What in the heck is the ghost world? Is this just the Pokedex's PG way of saying that the Litwick have been slowly and subtly murdering Team Rocket for the entire episode and planning on doing the same with everyone else? I think yes. We've had plenty of disturbing Dex entries in the games, but this is one example of where it really takes root in the anime. These adorable little ghosts are not just playing games like we're used to. They're not like Ghastly Haunter and Gengar. No, these Pokemon are out for blood. The episode just gets more intense from there. So again, I urge you to go and watch the whole thing if you haven't. But that moment definitely tops my list. So let me know in the comments what your most disturbing memories of the Pokemon anime are. And until next time, my name is Neck Punch. Have a good one.